Hola from the west side. It's me, DC and the Purple Diva. And welcome to another not so random chat. Okay, guys, I'm back. What the heck was that? It took me like 5 minutes to get back into my own daggone live. But I'm back. So, As I was saying, today was a kind of crazy day for me because my son had a really bad meltdown that got really, really physical. And yeah, I'm in a lot of pain right now. But I'm here, guys. I am here. And the crazy thing is that I told you guys that I had started, to get this, what they call CPR for him. Hey, Soup Bone, how are you? And so I call these people who are supposed to be the critical care for him, and they're supposed to call you back like within 5 or 10 minutes. I'm still waiting for a phone call. Do you hear me? I'm still waiting for that phone call. And this all happened. Let's see, what time is it here? Yeah, almost 3 hours ago. Almost 3 hours ago. So when they do come out here for his intake meeting next week, yeah, we're going to have a conversation about that. Because if you're not going to be available when I call you, because I'm calling you so I don't have to call the police in regards to an adult on the autism spectrum, because you don't want to call the police on an adult on the autism spectrum. You don't, you know, because you don't know what'll happen. And trust me, you guys know, of course, they've now marked my house as there's a kid here with autism, a young adult with autism, but now, so I probably wouldn't have an issue, but I don't want to call the police on my son. I literally started, and I know you guys might not be into this, but I literally started praying and speaking in tongues over my son when this was going on, because I had to, because I know that when they have these meltdowns, it is a spirit, y'all. So I had to pray over him. I did. So, I know I didn't call the popo. I'm not going to do that. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not. But, my fear is that somebody else will call him. Somebody else will call him while something's going on. And then that's out of my control. But it is what it is. I don't have a pity party because I'm a caregiver. I don't want nobody feeling sorry for me, because I know that the things that I'm dealing with right now with my son will not always be. And I know that I'm getting the things that he needs as an adult to help him so that he's able to process things and process his anger and whatever better. My son had a meltdown today, Lefford. And yeah, definitely not going to come on camera crying. And it was really, really bad. I have literally 2 hands that are swollen right now because of trying to hold him down and everything. So, but it's all good right now. Wait a second, guys. I'm going to put you on mute. I think this is the people calling. So let me put y'all on mute for a second. Hey guys, I'll be back in a minute. Just talk among yourselves. I'll be right back, okay? Thank you. Yeah. Before 2. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I had to take that call. So, yeah. So I'm going to be meeting with the people on Monday, and we're going to meet when he's not here instead of when he's here, like we had originally planned, because they want to meet with me separate from him initially because of this happening today, but I'm okay, guys. I'm a caregiver, and this is part of the stuff that I have to deal with as a caregiver. And, my son is a young Black man, so obviously I'm not trying to call the police on him, not trying to do that. And so I'm going to talk to these people on Monday. We're going to, they gave me some suggestions of some stuff that I can get in the interim. So tomorrow morning, maybe before we go to church, because I'm definitely going to church tomorrow, y'all. I'm definitely going to church tomorrow and going to lay this on the altar But maybe before I go to church, I will go get some, a couple of things that they suggested I get and see if that helps him. And more to come, more to come. But this is part of my journey with an adult on the autism spectrum, and he happens to be my kid. But sometimes it's just hard. Sometimes it's just really, really hard. So anyway, but like I said, for those of you who aren't spirit-filled, I literally laid hands on my son and started praying over him in tongues when he was trying to attack me, because that's what I knew to do. That's what I knew to do. And it's painful to have to go through, these situations with my son, because I know when it's going on, he can't really control himself, and he feels really bad afterwards. But we got to get a handle on this, because if he doesn't get better, he's never going to be able to do the things that he wants to do, y'all. He's never going to be able to do the things he wants to do if he doesn't get better. So, I'm thinking about looking at his diet seriously and see what's in his diet. Maybe it's something that he's eating, that's starting to trigger this. He's never been one of those ones on those gluten-free diets. But maybe I need to talk to his doctor, and maybe we need to do that with him. Maybe we need to do that with him. Maybe some of the things that are in the foods that he's eating are, causing issues, and he's not able to articulate it. So anyway, I'm good now, y'all. I just, they're probably going to call me back before I'm off the live stream, so I may have to pause mute for a minute in a little while just to get them on. But in the meantime, I did want to talk about some other things. Yesterday, I believe it went to federal court, and the states that have outlawed abortions, it's been found unconstitutional. So, I'm going to put you guys on hold for real quick. Hold on one second, guys. I just want y'all to see me for a second so y'all know that I'm okay. All right. Now I'm going to go back onto my avatar, but I want y'all to see. Yeah. So y'all can see I'm a bit of a mess tonight. So that's why I'm not really coming on camera, but I just came on camera so y'all could see that I am okay, you know. And I'm not just saying that I'm okay. Let me see. All right, let me catch up in the chat. All right, thanks guys. Okay, I'm gonna drop the link because it is Saturday sharing, and I don't want it to just be me up here, but I'm gonna drop the link in a second. So if anybody wants to come up and just talk about anything, you know. But let me just do that. Give me 1 second, guys. But yeah, I'm okay. I just came on camera so y'all can see that I'm okay. No makeup at all. I cried it all off. So, all right. So I'm gonna drop the link, and Leffer, you can come up. But I hope we don't have no issues like with the connection like we did last time. I swear, I don't know what the heck that is. But yeah, they overturned the abortion law that's out there. Hey, Miss Chantel. Yeah, I'm trying to get him involved, Miss Chantel. I'm trying to get him involved in a weightlifting program with the Special Olympics, you know, because they work with, you know, people on the spectrum. So we are working on that. But he has to go to his doctor during the holiday so that they will give him a physical clearance so that he can participate. You got to get it fixed. Okay, Deacon. Yeah, I don't know what that is with you. But how's everybody else doing tonight? You know, I mean, I'm doing good. You know, and this too shall pass, y'all. You know, but this is a part of autism that people don't talk about. People don't talk about this going on. You know, people think that it just happens with the kids on the autism spectrum. They don't understand that the meltdowns happen as adults. And if you're dealing with someone who is not able to always articulate how they're feeling, it's just, you know, something is bothering them, but they can't articulate it to you. It comes out like this, you know. And, you know, I'm not going to go into the details. For me to tell y'all that it was ugly, just imagine. Just imagine an adult male, you know, just like you see, you know, people, you know, who are having, you know, tantrums when they're having mental issues. Same kind of thing, you know. You have to try to restrain them to keep them from injuring themselves or others. And generally, when you're doing that, you know, you may get injured in the process. You know, but it's all good. Hey, Nancy for life, how are you? You know, but he's calmed down. And I'm telling y'all what's going to happen tomorrow morning. He's going to be sweet as pie. He's going to be in my face, hugging and kissing me. I'm so sorry, Mommy. Mommy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I hurt you, Mommy. Seriously, I know that's what happened. You know, but we have to get him to the point that it doesn't happen. And I know that he can do it. I know that he can do it, y'all. You know, and the interesting thing to me, guys, you know, because y'all know I talk about autism in my videos and in my vlogs and stuff, and you know, and I don't talk about it as much in my lives, you know, but It's not because it's not ever present, because you guys always hear my son in the background, you know. But, you know, that's not the only thing that I know about. I know about a whole lot of other things, you know. And I have a whole lot more that I can offer when I do these live streams, you know, because I am a woman of a particular age, you know. And so I do have a lot of life experience, you know, even though for half of my son's life I was married to his dad, and half of his life I have not been married to his dad. And I have been, you know, dealing with him by myself pretty much, except for, you know, I mean, he's with his dad. Don't get me wrong, because yeah, he's gonna be at his dad's this coming weekend, you know. But you know, his dad never sees it to the extreme that I deal with it, you know. And thank God I have some melatonin, because that's why he's gone upstairs to go to sleep. He took 2 melatonins, okay? You know, because we don't do drugs in this house, but we have to find other ways for him to, you know, be calm and everything. And as I learn those things that help my son to be calm, I'm going to share that information with you guys, because, you know, even though, you know, I don't know who's going to come back and listen to this broadcast. And there's a lot of people who have people in their family who have autism, and it can help them. So that's why I share what I'm going through with an adult on the spectrum, you know, because a lot of parents, you know, of the adults are not going to do that. They're not going to be open. They're not going to be transparent about what's going on with their kid, even if it might help someone else who has a child who has not reached adulthood, so that they can do things while their kid is a kid, so that maybe some of the things that I'm dealing with won't ever come to play with their child. So that's one of the reasons why I'm open about it, you know. And I like to try to take the stigma off of it, especially in the Black community, you know, especially in the Black community, you know. But I'm on here to represent us, because there are very few YouTubers that are Black, be they from here or somewhere else in that diaspora, or in Africa or in Europe or anywhere. There are very few of us talking about autism that look like me. And at this point, I think I'm the only one who's talking about it from the perspective of someone whose child is now an adult with autism. I think I'm the only one, you know, outside of, I take it back. Even the lady on Autism Live, who I follow, and I tell people to always follow her son is still a teenager. So yeah, I think I'm and she's not a person of color either. So I think I'm the only one who's a person of color, who's with a child who's an adult, that I found in these millions of people putting out YouTube videos. There may be somebody else, but maybe they're not doing it consistently like I am. So oh, it's your phone? That's what the issue is? Dang, Ledford. That sucks. That sucks. Sorry, I'm sniffling a little bit. I'm not crying anymore, but I was right before I got on the live with y'all. I'm not gonna lie about that, because you have to understand how I feel as a mother, you know. So yeah, but I think it's very interesting with the that abortion law being overturned. I'm glad it did get overturned, because even though you know I'm pretty much a pro-choice person. That's where I stand. Who's coming up? I hate 1SP. All right, let me let you in.
I can tell.
Hey 1SP, how are you?
I can tell you pro-choice.
How are you?
I can see you pro-choice. Look at you.
I am
Everything about you
pro-choice.
says choices.
Well, I'm pro-choice because um, everybody's situation is the same, and that those laws that they had out there, they were even against it if the person had been raped or it was a incest. They just didn't want it at all, and I didn't think that that was right. And if the mother's life is in danger, if she has the baby, all of those things were
I,
not even in
I,
consideration.
I'm kind of like some of the men on this because some women want to get rid of a child. Let's say they committed adultery and they were married or they were engaged to a person and
Okay.
they cheated on that person. They got pregnant by another person,
Uh-huh.
or they don't know if they're pregnant by another person. They go to this place to get an abortion when they didn't even confide in the person that they with. How do you know that man when it accept a child from another person? How do you know that man didn't want a child? So that's the only problem that I have with a woman
Well, I'm
making
not.
a
I'm not.
decision.
I'm not saying I agree with women not telling the man involved.
As a
I don't
father
think that
myself,
right. I don't think that that's right. I think that if a woman is in a relationship with one man and she becomes pregnant by another man, somebody should know, at least the one whose child it is should know.
I think if she is cheating on the man that she's with, I think, and she's in a relationship with him, and she wound up getting pregnant. I think it's the best interest to confide in him. Why is she with him if she can't trust him to tell him that she's pregnant? Why is she with him? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I actually happen to know someone who was in that situation, and they acted like it was his, but then they ended up not being together in the end. But I know someone who did do that, but then they were afraid that in the end he might come to resent the child, so they broke off the relationship.
uh,
And they were engaged, just like
yeah.
you're saying.
And that man probably think that child still. Well, he probably act like the child still is his, regardless.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I don't know, because it was a while back, but I remember someone being in that type of situation, a friend of mine. But I don't really know. I don't know.
if a woman is, let's say the woman does get raped and everything, and like I said, she's married.
Hmm.
I mean, if she's pregnant, like I said, that's something that she have to
Yeah, that's a
confide
and,
in her husband with. That's not just a one person decision. Oh, I got raped and I want to get rid of the child, because it reminds me of. But what if your husband wants you to have that child? You understand
and
what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I mean, in situations like that. But what I'm saying is that I still think that there should not be a complete ban on abortions, because there are situations where people should have the right to do that. I mean, obviously, I'm not even I'm not even talking about myself because clearly I'm not having any more children.
Neither am I. Neither am
So
I.
so it's not,
Neither
so
am
it
I.
doesn't impact me at all, but I do know that I did not like that stipulation in it. Even though I believe in the Lord Almighty, and I do believe that that baby is a person, from conception, you know, but it's not my decision to make for them. That's really between that person and God.
And their
Yeah,
spouse,
and whoever else is involved. I don't think that any of the rest of us should be making that decision for them.
Well,
You know.
I'm the only thing, like I said, the only thing that I can honestly step up, and actually agree with these, politicians with is that if
Yeah, I
the
mean,
woman is raped and she just so happened to be married or engaged or whatever, common law married, and she's with, someone, it's not just her, that's going to be affected by this abortion. That man that she's with, or even if she's married to a woman, that woman that she's with gonna be affected by the abortion. You understand what I'm saying? Especially if they are, a lesbian couple, it really gonna hit hard on her spouse or her significant other, especially
I
if
know.
it's a lesbian couple. A lesbian
And
couple.
that's what I'm saying. There's so many different circumstances that in my I would rather, if people are going to make that choice, that they have safe facilities to do that in. We don't want it to go back to, people going to the back alleys and going to all them crazy places. That's where my concern about it is. We don't want women dying,
Uh,
you know.
and and as for this incest thing, like I'm gonna be honest with you, like
Uh-huh.
I got family that participate in that. I'm not one. I'm not one.
I know. That's what I'm
I
saying.
reject a
We
lot of
know that
them.
it happens in
I'm like,
families.
no, get away from me.
We know that
I
it
don't
happens in
drink,
families.
so I won't get in that situation ever in my life.
Yeah, we
But
know that it happens in family. I mean, it's just, and I mean, in that situation, you have and it's usually a child that you know that some uncle has come to as a girl or a boy, where a female does that, because you got to think about that.
yeah, men get raped too, just
That's what
as
I'm
well
saying.
as women.
Or a boy where a female is doing that and gets herself impregnated by a child. Craziness.
But what I have to say about that, like I said, when people commit incest, sometimes, like I said, they may be married again, like I say, and just to go out and oh, I'm gonna just take it upon myself to get an abortion, so my tracks to be clean. No one would ever know that I made this mistake or this carnal sin. No one would ever know, and that's not fair on their spouse or their significant other. For that to even happen. You know, so it's a lot of stuff, and I'm glad that
Hmm.
when I was married, I had a spouse that was honest enough after seeing her pregnant to say that, hey, I slipped up. So like,
Wow,
yeah, she
that's deep.
slipped up. She did not say it's yours. Admittedly, she said she slipped up. So she did not say it was mine, and I respect her to this day. I respect that little girl that she have. She's my I still call my stepdaughter, so like I can honestly say that even though we didn't wind up together, I always make it, my effort if I am gonna, cater to, my youngest child,
Mm.
I make sure that, my stepdaughter is a part of that. So I don't just do one, I still do for the other. So
You
it's
bet you are a better man than most, one SP. You are a better man than most.
Well,
Because most men would not accept somebody else's child.
well, it's okay. I mean, she accepted my oldest son, but my oldest son was long in the picture before her. So, but yeah, she, so I'm just saying that, a lot of times things don't turn out the way it is. And had my ex-wife got an abortion, and I found out because I was on military insurance and she was my spouse. Had I found out that she got an abortion behind my back, I wouldn't have ever been able to trust her ever again. So, like, like I don't think I'd be able to trust women after that.
You probably
So
wouldn't have.
like I said, you have to think of, the you have to think of the you have to think of that spouse, or that significant other with that person is with. Sometimes a woman want to clean up her tracks, or if she's been
No,
hurt
yeah, I
where
mean,
she got
I agree with
molested,
that.
she got raped, or something like that. Abortion may be uh, 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 a solution in a sense, but is it the only solution? Because if you are with someone, it is in the best interest to make this decision as a family. If you are going to be with this person for the rest of your life, you have to confide in them. Let them make the decision with you, because sometimes you may be in panic mode and they may be calm. They're on the outside looking in. So sometimes they can help you with that decision, or they can walk you through the process. If you're gonna do it, they may know some better places to get it done. That you will have someone with you in the process. Whatever decision you make together, you will have someone with you in the process. And I think that's the best way to go about it. If it is gonna be done and you're married, make sure your spouse is there with you.
Yeah,
Point blank, period. There's no questions about it. Your spouse got to be there. If your spouse is not there, then it should not happen.
that's true. But I mean, I agree with you that when someone is in a relationship and if something like that comes up, what the heck is that? Why does that keep coming up? All right, let me close that out. I don't know what keeps coming up on my computer. Real. And somebody is trying to, hey, just chilling. I'm just gonna say it in, even though I said it in the chat. I think they do need to discuss it with the other person involved. Now, I mean, obviously, if they're not with their spouse, then that's a whole nother situation. But if they are still with the spouse, you can't make a decision like you shouldn't. Let me say, you should not be making a decision like that without at least telling them, and then just let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. So that's
But,
the only, like I said, that's the only thing that I'm with the politicians on. Like a lot of women, panic. And, when something like that happens, and the first thing they want to do is get rid of, this being. I mean, had that happened, you wouldn't even have your savior. Like, if Mary got pregnant and she panicked immediately and then confide in her husband, guess what would have happened?
yep.
There would have been an abortion right then and there. She would have, got punched in the stomach, hit a rock, lift a heavy rock or something. She would have did something to get an abortion.
Yeah.
So,
But I
you
mean, if going back to that, I mean, if you look at the way that they pose it in any Bible, it always calls him Mary's son. They never say that that's Joseph's son. So they clearly are indicating that that he was a bastard in their eyes, because they don't believe that he's the son of God. But that's a whole nother
well,
story.
Yeshua.
Yeah,
Well, the side of David, and everything, went through Mary, so it didn't go through.
exactly.
It didn't go through Joseph. So, that's
We
the
all we
only.
all know that. I mean, and the thing is that both of them, and the ironic part of it is that both of them were from the house, were from the same tribe, anyway, but it was through her. It was through her. Hey, Carolyn, how are you? But I mean, you know, one SP, I don't mind getting your perspective, because I know you're going to have probably a more conservative perspective about it. And I'm kind of,
Well, I tried to be liberal with it. I tried to be liberal. I'm just,
you can only
I
be
gotta speak
yourself.
from a fatherly side of this whole situation. Like I have to speak from a fatherly side. I respect everything women are doing, but like I said, if the woman have found someone and she's truly in love with the person that she's with, why not confide in them? Stop showing fear in the man that you with, and start showing fear in the man above. God can place so many great things on the heart of a man. Had God not spoken to me when my ex-wife, before my ex-wife even said anything, I wouldn't have even been like, you know what, you can have the child on my military insurance where it won't be any money spent, and then we'll get a divorce. Like,
Hmm.
I could have been a jerk and got divorced, and she'll have to, come out of her pocket to pay for that, and I didn't, So God spoken, God spoken to me, and everything. So I wouldn't I wasn't a jerk about her being pregnant. I've been a complete. I know I couldn't stay married to her. I know that much,
Yeah.
because if I step away and you get pregnant, then what happens, if I step away again, stuff like that. So, but I know that we became, over time, we became, you know, amicable people, and I could say we got strong. I think we have a stronger friendship now than before we started dating. So I can say we have a stronger friendship now than before we started dating. I could almost talk to her about anything. I'm not going to talk to her about anything, but
But
I can.
I'm sure she appreciated you being there for her, even though she knows that she messed it up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. She like to talk to me about stuff that don't have anything to do with our son Malik, and I have to change the conversation and go right back to that. Stop reminiscing, and let's get back on this child.
Well, I don't have
But
that. I don't have
but
that issue with my ex-husband, because the only thing, I mean, there's so much going on with our son. He has to talk to me strictly about our son, because we are, I mean, y'all imagine how difficult it is to still have to co-parent someone who's 24 and have to talk to somebody else about it? It's very, very difficult, especially when you're not married to that person anymore. So I'm not submitted to him. I'm only submitted to God, and that's the reason why I'm being obedient to God, and being nice to this other person, and trying to co-parent with him.
well, you make him sound like he's a very cool person. You talk about how, I remember, like, what, a month ago you were talking about, him getting, your son getting a job, and you were talking about the dad. You were talking about how the dad, actually, show up to, like,
No,
meetings
he shows
about your
up to
son.
everything for his son and everything. It's just that he
Yeah.
and I are different in our parenting styles,
Hmm.
and I understand that my son is an adult, and I try to treat him as an adult as much as I can. And I feel that sometimes his father is not doing that, and I don't think that that is helping, because he's the only one who can teach my son to be a man. I can't do that.
So you think the dad is babying him?
Yes.
Oh man, oh man. But then, okay. This is the thing about us dads. I'm gonna tell you right now. When a dad becomes strict, then it's like the dad is too strict. So most of the time, you better off having, the fun dad. You better off having the fun dad, because the moment the dad be strict, it's too strict. You're gonna be like, oh, he's not in the military, or you're
But
gonna be
he
like,
has to
oh,
be.
he's
But
not
you know
locked
what?
up.
Our son needs that kind of he needs that kind of structure. And if it's coming from both of us, I think it will be more helpful. But, you know, I think that he's starting to understand that, you know,
You said
but
David
we still got a long
is
ways to go.
pretty. You said David is pretty wise anyway. You know, he prays and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure the structure that his father is giving him and spend time with him and all of that, I'm pretty sure that David would be able to, like, you know, handle some things on his own. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure.
he will be able to handle some things on his own. And you know, I mean, one of the things that I'm doing with him now, we're working on his living skills so he can kind of learn how to do more things independently for himself, but at the same time, also working with him on his emotional wellness, because he can't continue his life, you know, having meltdowns as an adult. It's not acceptable
Oh
for
yeah,
him to
that
do that.
communication is key.
Yeah, but but see, we're not doing pharmaceutical medication. So right now we're working with the holistic ones, and I'm going to have a conversation with his doctor over the holidays
Hmm.
about, because I think that maybe we need to change his diet as well.
Hmm.
I think he's never been one of those kids on the gluten-free thing, but I think that even though he doesn't have issues with what he eats, I think maybe we might want to try that with him for a while and see if that helps.
Yeah, gluten free is pretty good.
Yep.
Gluten free.
So,
He's gonna be eating kosher. He's
I'm
gonna be
about,
eating kosher.
well, I was a vegan. I mean, I was a real vegan for 7 years, and I mean, real vegan in that I didn't have any dairy, I didn't eat eggs, I didn't eat any meat, I didn't even eat seafood, which I love. So, I mean, I know how to put him on that, and I mean, I can change the way that we're eating and everything. But you know, I know it's going to be a change for him because he likes the stuff that he eats. So we're going to have to find things that are similar, that are gluten free, so that he can still get that same, you know, stuff. But they've come a long way in how they make the gluten free stuff now. So, but I think that it'll help him. And then, you know, I'm also going to have the doctor to do testing to see if how much metals are in him, because I know that there's, even though we filter the water, you know, here in the house, I don't know about, you know, when he's not here in the house. And I know that sometimes if there's a lot of metals, you know, from the waters and stuff that they're drinking, that might have an effect too. So might have to do a detox, like with some celery juice.
Mm,
Celery juice
celery
is a
juice.
good detox for
It
metals.
tastes nasty. Oh man, celery juice tastes nasty. Oh
I
man.
know, but I mean, but it'll help him. It'll help if there's metals in his. It's a natural way to get them out of his system.
But it make a great gravy. I know that much.
Hey
It
Matt,
makes
how
a
are
great gravy.
you?
It makes a great gravy.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, thankfully I'm an excellent cook, so I'm gonna make it do what it do. But obviously, I'm gonna have to learn how to. I'm gonna, you know, just find some gluten-free recipes for stuff and start doing that, because I'm not gonna be out there, you know, buying pre-prepared food. I know how to cook, so I'm just gonna go get some real good recipes for some gluten-free stuff, and then I know they have some on one of the the websites that I go to, where they
You
have
need
like
to
a
vlog
whole
about
gluten
that.
free. They have
You
a
need to
whole gluten free cookbook that I'm gonna go check out some of their recipes
you need
too.
a vlog about that.
Yep.
You need a vlog about that.
Yeah, I need to, and I probably need to start using my blog. I have a blog, guys, that I've had for years on WordPress, and I never do anything with it. I don't think I've been on it in like 3 years. So I think I
Hmm.
need to reactivate that and probably put some things on the blog
Hmm.
that I'm not able to really, you know,
Say on here.
videotape, because y'all know I'm never going to videotape my son having a meltdown. First of all, I don't have time to tape that. And I'm not going to let anybody else tape it, but I can talk about it. I would
the recovery of it, huh?
Yeah, but I see people who do that. I see people that videotape their kids having meltdowns, and they're doing it for ones who are under the age of 18. And I know they're doing it.
I don't know how they stay so
Huh?
confident in doing it. Like, it's real hard for me to even stay like patient. When I see, my children get upset. When they get upset, I get upset with them. Because like, what you getting mad for? Like, and I
Yeah,
don't
but
know
I
if
just
you
have
can
to
hold
figure
the
out.
camera.
I have to
The
figure out
first
what
thing I
triggers
want to do is
him.
calm them down.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what's triggering in it, and I think it's something internal. He may be, like I said, it may be things that he's eating and stuff that are causing him, because he starts out with injuring himself before he's injuring anybody else.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
You know what I
whoa.
mean?
Yeah,
So
he really get it. He really get it fast. You know who really knows a lot about all of this?
who?
Angel. Angel Moniz.
Oh yeah, I know. Me and yeah, I know. He and I,
Yeah, he knows.
he and I are friends. He hasn't been over here in a minute. I think he's just been busy.
Yeah, he has truly been through all those trials
Yeah,
himself.
but he told me that he's even told me that, yeah, don't do the meds, because the meds, and I already know, because I know how my son felt on the meds. So that's why I won't do any pharmaceuticals. That's why we're going holistic with this stuff, because those pharmaceuticals, even though they will alleviate, the that issue,
Hmm.
the long-term side effects of them, I'm not willing to do that to him. He's got a long life to live, and he needs to live it healthy.
Yeah, he only 20 something. He's
Yeah,
still a brand new baby.
exactly. He needs to live it healthy. you know
He only 20
all
something.
right, thanks. Just chilling. If you're leaving, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Wait till you get a girlfriend. You really gonna be like, oh, you
let,
really be gonna want to cook
so
for
let me
him
let me
then.
let me tell y'all. Okay, so I know you guys don't watch Love and Hip Hop, any of them. I
Mm-mm.
know y'all don't watch them,
Yeah, I
but
don't watch that.
you guys may have heard of the one Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. And I don't tell a lot of people this, but like the chick Apple Watts that's on there, the reason she used to be my tenant when I lived in another city, because I had two houses on the lot. But the whole how I met her is because she saw my son standing outside when he was like 16 or 17, and she was talking to him. She even gave him her number. I was like, so he talked well enough to go find a piece of paper and get that girl's number. And when I found out that she had, just she was just being nice to him and everything. But when I found out, I was just like, I looked at my son differently, because I see that young women, they don't see autism. They just see, oh, he's a nice looking.
He,
They
they
don't
always is attractive black man. Huh?
they don't care that he has autism. So I have to help him with this stuff, because I don't want him going popping out no babies, because it
Oh
will
yeah,
happen.
I know a dude from back in the day. That wound up having like, it was a dude in my school that had autism. They had like a separate class for them,
Yeah,
but
he was always,
but
yeah,
he wound up having like what, two kids at 16. So
because the little girls will show him how to do it.
yeah, he wound up having two kids at 16. And
Uh,
you would see the mom, and you would see the mom picking him up from the school with his kids in a stroller. I'm like, oh my God, this boy got two kids. Oh my God. I can't believe this.
Well, autism has nothing to do with knowing how to have sex. Everybody figures out how to have sex.
I'm
They all
like,
do.
no.
They
Well,
all
I'm like,
figure it out.
this boy. Okay, maybe I was like that because I didn't get laid until like after the fact. But yeah, I was like that. I was pretty amazed. I'm like, he beat me. Like, he beat me. You know what? In fact, he show up in my live stream. He shows up in my live stream. He does. Show
Yeah.
up in my live stream. He like all over my like YouTube page
But
and
I
my
mean,
Instagram.
and see, that's the thing. I have to recognize that eventually he's gonna figure out how to get a girlfriend.
You don't gotta tell him, but you gonna be surprised. You gonna want to cook for him then.
Like I say, I mean, because he's gonna figure out how to get a girlfriend, and
He know.
it's gonna happen.
Know.
I just
He
like.
already know. He already know.
But his father won't talk to him about sex, so I have.
He gonna have to figure out the hard way then.
Well, I told his dad that he needs to have that conversation with him regardless, because
hey, look, if the dad don't do it, then you got to step up and do it.
Because he's not always with us, and we just need to make sure that he understands. So if anything ever happens, he knows how to protect himself. I mean, I can show him with a banana, but
Oh no. You gotta have to get more.
But I don't want to have to do it.
You have to get more creative. I'm sorry.
You gonna
have to really make him feel like disgusted about it, but he'll get the message. You got to get like a dildo and show him.
See, that's why I'm not going to be doing this. That's why his daddy going to be doing it.
Yeah, you got to get a dildo.
I'm not going to be doing this. It
worked for me. My mom did it for me. It worked for me. I was disgusted. I was like, oh my, all right.
There may be a lot of moms who feel comfortable doing this, but my situation.
My dad would have a conversation with me, so my mom did it, and my mom got the dildo, put the condom on it. That was that.
Yeah.
I was disgusted because my mom was showing me.
Well,
it gave me a clear understanding of how important it is to her, because my mom had me at 16, so
right.
It gave me an importance of like how much this means for my mother, for me not to make that mistake, so, and it worked. So, but I was still disgusted. I'm like, why are you showing me this?
Well, I mean,
I was like, I already know.
I know. Here's the thing.
Like, I was making sure.
I know he understands something about sex. I just don't know how much he understands about it, but I know he understands about it. I do know that part. That part I understand, and I don't need to know anything else. But I keep suggesting to his father that he really needs to have that conversation with him, because he's going to be 25 next year, and
25.
And we can't assume that something may not happen, and we just because as much as we want to be there with him all the time, shoot.
Yeah, the grandkids. Hey, you get grandchild.
Hey, tatted hearts.
You get grandchild. Hopefully you like.
Yeah, well,
I'm
not ready to be a grandmother.
You're gonna be a grandma.
And he's not ready. And he's not ready to be anybody's father, because he has to be able to take care of himself before he can take care of a child. And I'm taking care of him, so I don't need him. I don't need no child of his to take care of too. So that's what we are.
This dude had twins, so there wasn't no way out of that. She can't be like, hey, she said she didn't want a grandchild, so she didn't get a grandchild. She got 2 grandchildren. So, like,
yeah, well,
Yeah, that's how he did her.
You know what?
But at graduation, I see
they're twins. They're twins in my generation, so I don't think that there'll be any twins in his generation. They were in my generation.
We all see his baby mama.
We have 2 sets of twins. Two people in my generation, in my mom's family. 2 Two of them had twins. I didn't have no twins. But yeah, they
Well,
run in my family. And they also run in his father's family.
I seen this dude. I
Because
seen this
he has
dude,
first
baby
cousins
mama.
that are twins.
I seen this dude, baby mama. She been like, I don't know how many music videos, but I was like, wow, everybody was asking for autographs at the graduation and stuff. And then all of a sudden, you see him go up to her and she kiss him. And I'm like, what? This no baby mama? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God. A
I
video
mean, that,
vixen is your baby mama? I was like, oh my God. I don't know what
well,
y'all do. I don't know how
here's
you
my
marry a
feelings in regards
video
to my son.
vixen.
At least he likes girls, because people like, they said, well, what if I said, I'm glad he likes girls, because not that I have anything against him not liking girls. I just think it will be harder for him being artistic and also being gay. I think it would be harder.
Oh yeah.
He already has one thing he has to deal with, because I do know some people who are autistic that are gay, but the ones that I know are much more verbal than my son, so they can probably handle it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because you already have the opposition of how people look at you because you have autism, and then you have the other of how they're going to be looking at you because you also prefer the same sex, which is
And
crazy.
then
But
they're gonna be looking up because he black.
yeah, he's got that too.
That's a lot of
And
stuff.
he likes to wear hoodies.
That's a lot of stuff
And he likes to wear
going
hoodies.
to him at once.
Did you hear what I said, 1SP? And he likes to wear hoodies because he's in
Oh
that
yeah.
generation.
Oh man.
He loves to wear hoodies.
Even when
I'm
it's
always,
sunny outside.
he likes to wear hoodies. He likes to wear hats and wear shades and stuff. And
Oh my. Oh my.
exactly.
He like to
So
be inconspicuous, huh?
we
He
have
like
to make him take all that stuff off every day when he leaves the house, when he goes to work. As soon as he gets on the van to go to work, he has to take everything off. He can't keep it on at work. He can only do that when he's in the house, literally. But he likes, yeah. And I have to bribe him to get him to take stuff off when we go out. But I do it because it's for his safety.
oh, you the fun mom. You the fun parent.
Yeah.
You bribe him against you the fun parent.
I have to do that for some things. There has to be a gratification with especially with people on the autism spectrum. In order to get them to do certain things, you have to do it certain ways. I mean, eventually you take it away, though he's not to the point where I can take that away from him
And you say he's bigger than you anyway.
Exactly, and get him to do what I need him to do. Yeah, he is. I mean, he's taller than me and he weighs more than I do. So both of the above.
Yeah, you ain't nothing but a fly.
He weight. I mean, he don't weigh 200 pounds, but he's close to it. So, and I'm nowhere near 200 pounds.
Yeah, I could tell you're a fly.
I'm
I'm
I'm tall, but I'm not big.
You teeny. But I'm really impressed. So how do you feel? You said you pro-choice. So you think that it's okay for a woman to up and go?
I don't think that that's okay. I don't think that that's okay. But I do think that the woman should have a choice. I don't think that she should be forced to have a child, especially when you got women who are forced to have kids or have the kids and shouldn't have been a mother in the first place. I'd rather them not do that. And yes, some of them will put them up for adoption, which is always the other option. I would rather them not terminate a pregnancy, but I don't want the choice being taken away from them, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. It's a lot of women that's in captivity that wind up getting locked up and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Hey, hey, Sessions, how are you?
That sex trafficking ain't no joke.
Yeah, and I
Everybody
mean,
want to be a pimp now. I see everybody getting caught being a pimp now. Everybody getting caught being a pimp all
yeah,
over the nation.
and
I'm
then
like,
see, then you
man,
also have to think
they
about all that.
pimping out of like trailer parks. I'm like, wow, I never knew they pimp out trailer parks. I'm like,
You'd
man,
be surprised. It's a lot. It's a lot of
how do
sex.
you
It's a lot of sex trafficking. It's a lot of human
how
trafficking.
do you enslave somebody in a trailer park?
It's going on. And then one of the other things is that people don't even think about the fact that all of these young, you know black children and young adults that are disappearing, they don't even understand. Yes, some of it is trafficking that happens. Obviously, some of it is that they're being murdered, but then some of it is also they're being experimented on. They're doing human exper- experimentation on some of the people who are being abducted,
Mm.
you know, making them guinea pigs for stuff.
Practicing medicine on them, huh?
Exactly. I mean, guys, y'all don't forget Tuskegee. Don't forget Tuskegee. That was the worst. That was such an atrocity. You know what they did to those men.
What made them fly?
No, I'm not talking about the Tuskegee the airmen. I'm talking about the ones who were part of that experiment where they had them
That
all
was an experiment when
with
they had
they
the
all
fly.
had venereal disease, and they
Oh my, oh
studied them
my.
for years.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that one. They studied
I
them
didn't
for
know about that.
years.
I know about them flying that they forced them black men to go up there in that air.
This particular thing wasn't run by black people. Of course, it was done to black people, but it was an experiment, and they purposely withheld treatment from these people
Mm,
and studied the effects of them having, I believe it was syphilis.
mm. That's horrible.
Yep.
That's horrible right there.
Yeah. You, there's a few videos about it on YouTube, but they did a documentary about it a few years ago.
They won't get whoever put that on YouTube won't get no views from me.
It happened, I believe that it happened back in the 30s. And then they studied these men for years. They watched them die and everything. Yeah.
Mm,
So yeah, that's what happened. They that was a human experiment that
mm,
was kind of done out in the open and nobody knew it was happening.
mm. They're
That was
just
done by.
abducting black men, huh?
Yeah, it was black men. Yep.
They're
Look
just
up the
abducting your blood, but
Tuskegee experiment. You'll
the
find it.
strong
It's out
brother.
there. Yeah, that's just another sign of how we've been treated in this country. But that's not my topic for tonight. But yeah, that really happened. And
Yeah.
with the people that are disappearing, not all of the people who are disappearing are being murdered or are going into or being sex trafficked or human trafficked and being taken out of the country. Some of them are being used for human experiments,
Mm,
and they may be killing them, and doing things. I mean, you also know about about the black market for body parts, for
oh
organs.
my.
Yeah, they get those out of living people, and not
Oh my.
always and not always from willing participants.
You really been doing some investigating.
I really know. I told you, I know. I know a lot more than autism. There's all kinds of stuff that
you already been doing some investigating. Look at you.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I care about the fact, you know, and then, I mean, I've said a couple of times on my platform, I have a friend who, Dr. Brooke Bello, I think she has a YouTube channel, who was a victim of human trafficking, sex trafficking as a teenager. She is now, you know, as an adult, she's married. And you know, this is obviously her passion is it's dealing with sex trafficking and all of that stuff. And I mean, she's now also a minister, you know, and she mixes in, you know, the healing of God in talking to people who are victims of that. But she was a victim of it herself as a teenager. I mean, it took her from into a gay lifestyle for many years. And you know, when I met her, she had just come out of that, you know, and had just gotten herself, you know, she had just gotten, you know, saved, you know, filled, you know, but from that point on, you know, she's been a staunch supporter for that. You'll even find her in some of the films that they have out there about sex trafficking. You'll find her in those some of those films too. Some of the documentaries, they pull her into them. But yeah, so I learned a lot about it from her, and from her experience with it, that she, you know, she has shared with people that were friends of hers, and that she has shared publicly, you know. And she's of course a woman of color that went through that.
I didn't know she was a woman of color.
Yeah, my friend she has a PhD now, so that's why she's Dr. Brooke Bello. And I believe her husband is Italian, you know, but she's a woman of color. She used to be an actress too.
I'm glad that you met Brooke Bello. I'm glad that you met her.
Oh yeah.
So
I see what Matt's saying in the chat. You're right about that, Matt. They do experiments on mental patients too. They do.
I'm pretty sure they do it on
in some of those state facilities, in some of those private facilities. You don't know what the heck they're doing to those people.
I'm pretty sure they do it on people that ain't mental too.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think it really matters if they got someone that's mental or not. All they need is someone that's incapacitated.
Yeah. And the thing that bothers me is that people are watching all of these people disappearing and nobody's talking about it. But it's like and it's not just happening to our kids. It is happening, period. I mean, we've seen some of the high profile cases, like, you know, the little girl from Utah, you know, and then that other, you know, those two little white girls that stuff happened where they were made into, you know, sex slaves. And one of them, it happened to for years, and she came back with a couple of kids, you know. But it's not just it's so, I mean, those are cases that we know of that are outside of the you know, of the Black community, but it's happening to all.
Yeah, but it's been happening.
It is a huge, but it's happening a lot more with our kids and our young adults. And
it's been happening with our men for like the longest.
Yeah, and nobody's saying
Black men being
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Ever.
When I'm talking about our young adults, it's primarily young Black men that are just disappearing.
Being abducted for the longest.
Like, yeah,
this been happening since slavery.
Oh yeah, I know. It's happening. People can. It's like people can see it more because obviously we have social media, and if it weren't for people who cared about them, we probably wouldn't even know that there were so many, you know, that are disappearing. You know,
they still can't even find a UCF daughter. What the UCF guy daughter yet? They still can't even find her yet.
Yep.
She black, he white. They can't find her. They can't find her.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, think about it. There, I mean, I'm just thinking about like there was a case here in California that happened in Malibu, California, where it was a young black woman who was having a mental episode, I believe, but or she, had dealt with some mental issues, and she had, I guess, got arrested. The police then just let her go, didn't have her call anybody or anything. She was missing for, I think it was a couple of years. I think they just found her remains somewhere up in the canyons this year. And and that's a case where clearly, how did she get from outside of the station to up in the canyons dead?
They probably didn't let her out
Buried.
from the
Exactly.
station.
Buried in a shallow grave.
They probably didn't let her out by the station.
You know?
They probably like raped her and dropped her off somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody knows. I mean, exactly. And that was a case where somebody cared. So that's why that one went public, and so it was talked about, and then every time they were finding, remains in that area, that girl's parents was coming looking. They stayed on it. But that doesn't happen for a lot of our young people. They go missing.
Well, a lot of
and nobody cares. And yeah, sometimes they end up on that that missing persons thing, that national missing person thing, and sometimes they don't. They generally don't even put our people on the milk cartons. But I'm like, when's the last time you saw? When's the last time you saw a carton of milk? Also,
that's because most of us don't drink milk,
right? We drink almond milk or rice milk.
Most of us don't even drink milk. So
we drink, that's what I said, we drink almond milk, we drink rice milk. We don't drink milk because most of us can't drink milk.
Most of us don't even like the police anyway. So
I mean, I used to be able to drink milk, but I haven't been able to drink milk in a long time. And my son was allergic to it when he was younger. Now he can drink it, but he doesn't drink it that often. He usually drinks almond milk because that's what I drink.
You look like an almond milk drinker.
Ha ha ha.
You look
yeah,
like
well,
an almond milk drinker.
I don't like the soy milk, so I don't.
You look like an almond milk drinker.
All right, 1 second. I'm gonna put you on mute for 1 second because I hear my son, so I'm gonna put y'all on mute. Keep talking, 1SP. I'll be right back.
I hope you be back. So where y'all at? What state y'all in? Hey, Wild Boy, what state you in? Oh, you drink 2%, huh? The blue cap, huh? Drink the blue cap, huh? You in Ohio, huh? Buckeye Nation, huh? Buckeye Nation. I like Buckeye Nation. I like Cincinnati. But you know what I really like? What's it called? Indian Lake. I like that area. I like Indian Lake. I like that area.
I'm back. Thank you for holding it down for me.
You ever been to Indian Lake?
Where is that?
I was talking to Wild Boy.
Where is that? Oh, you drink 2% milk? I can't even drink the 2% milk. It gives me gas, Matt.
That's not too far from Cleveland. You're right. It's closer to Akron, but it's not too far from Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, in Ohio. Okay.
I like that area, though. I like that area. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, it's gorgeous, But I've been there. I've been um, like I said, I've been to Chili Capital, Cincinnati. I've been to Hamilton, Bedford, Akron,
Have you been to
Freeland,
Toledo?
Dayton. No,
Yeah,
I never
I've
been
been
to
to Dayton
Toledo.
and Toledo.
No, I never been to Toledo.
I went to
I've been
Toledo. Well, my dad did his residency in Toledo. He
yeah
did part
in
of his residency.
Columbus.
Yeah, and I've been to Cedar Point.
Oh, Cedar Point is nice. Cedar Point is nice.
Yeah,
Ohio, a
we
beautiful
had fun
place.
at Cedar Point.
Ohio, a beautiful state. It's just that I can't live there. I can't live there.
I have a friend that still lives in Dayton. He went to the University of Dayton, and he still lives in Dayton.
Yeah, I can't live there. But they have like some very good like lake houses over there. They
They
have
have
some
a
very
lot. Shoot, I mean, they have some really nice houses because my friend that lives there, because we went to high school together. He has a
Mhm.
really nice house, and it's probably I'm like, so I would maybe buy some property there, but it gets too cold.
Well, I like the
I've
weather
been away
there.
from the cold too long. I grew up in the cold, but I don't live in the cold. I haven't lived in the cold in a long, long time. And my son has never lived in the cold. I think that would be brutal for him.
Yeah, but I also like I also like like I also like the property like value there. I like the property value there to like
That's
start a
what I'm saying. The
business.
property values you can get a good value. So I mean, I could probably maybe buy some property there, but I don't know if I want to. But it's just so cold there. It's
But it's easier to buy like your like lot first and to build your own place than to get one like that's already built, or like start a business from scratch there. But
another good
other
place.
places,
Another good place
huh?
to buy is in Michigan too.
No, well, Michigan is nothing but like abandoned buildings, like especially in Lassine. I'm like, oh my god, Lassine. I'm not going there no more. I don't care if my Angela was born there or not. I'm not going back there no more. Like for real.
I
My
laugh at.
Angela, they made like where she was born like a landmark and everything. It's an abandoned building that they made a landmark. Like
It's like that in Dayton too, though. In other parts of Ohio,
Dayton have a drive-through Chinese restaurant. I don't know what you're talking about.
no, I
Dayton
mean
is like that.
they have a lot of nice places there, and then they had that shooting in Dayton earlier this year. That was crazy. But I'm saying when I went to visit Dayton a couple of years ago, because Dayton is basically a college town.
I didn't notice that when I
Yeah,
went.
because University of Dayton is in Dayton.
Yeah, right off the highway. But I ain't even
Yep,
go
and
there.
and the city is basically a college town. I mean,
I
so
ain't even go that way. I ain't go that. I ain't even go that way. My
well,
brother
and then
did.
the
I was
other
like,
thing
I ain't
is
going
that
by
I
this
think that
school.
that's one of the places where they had a lot of, because it's the Midwest, they had a lot of the steel and everything, and a lot of the jobs left there years ago. And of course, they would want some of the ones that Mr. Trump promised he was bringing stuff back to. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
I don't think he's lying, because a lot of like strip clubs don't open up in like places you would never thought would open. So I don't think he was lying.
Strip clubs,
There
though,
are
man.
businesses in America. They just not the businesses that everyone expected them to be. But seriously, like if you look in America, you have like over like I think 500 strip clubs that have opened in America since he been president.
Well,
Seriously,
that's also because porn is the biggest industry. I mean,
do you blame? I don't think anything wrong with businesses coming to America. Everybody said they want businesses here. Guess what? They're here.
yeah,
They're here. It's not the industry that everybody expected to be, but it's here.
they need to build up the health industry. All these baby boomers are becoming, geriatric, They're gonna need some doctors and stuff. You know, because literally, I tell people, I'm like, my dad is over the age of 80, and he is still working as a physician. Obviously, because he feels healthy and he's healthy enough, but it's because also there's not a whole lot of doctors in his field.
They need to lower the standard a little bit so they could get more doctors.
Well, my dad's a skin doctor.
Oh, a dermatologist?
Yep, he's a dermatologist.
Oh yeah, the standard already low enough. The standard already low enough.
They have the lowest malpractice insurance, and people don't even understand it covers everything, including venereal diseases, y'all. I didn't know that was part of dermatology, but because some of those affect the skin, so that's also under dermatology. One day I'll give you guys a story time about an ex-boyfriend I had back.
Go ahead. We got nothing but.
Now I'm not going to talk about it tonight because I don't want to talk about it tonight. But I'll tell y'all about an ex-boyfriend that I had back home who cheated on me.
What's his name?
Doesn't matter.
I probably know him. What's his name?
He's in DC if he's still alive.
I probably know him. What's his name? Try me.
Yeah. No.
Try me. I probably know him.
His name is Lawrence.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Anyway, yeah, cheated on me and caught something. And how I found out. Thanks to my dad. Because at the time my father worked for the DC Department of Health, y'all.
Oh man, he is so dumb.
Let me just tell y'all that.
Lawrence is dumb.
Yes. And
Lawrence is dumb. He shouldn't have went out on you like
y'all already know that he never got near me. He never got near me again. He never got near me again. I was good on him.
Did your dad pop off?
And he caught it from an ex-girlfriend. Oh no. My dad didn't pop off because he knew I didn't have nothing because I hadn't been around. I had been away at college.
Oh man, that's even worse. Worse.
Exactly. I had been away at school.
That's even worse.
So couldn't possibly have affected me. So my dad had no problem. He just let he didn't break any things telling me about it, but the guy had to say that he had a girlfriend, and he went to the clinic that my dad was at.
No, hopefully he went when your dad was not there.
No, my dad was there. That's how I know.
Oh man, he's dumb. Lawrence, not your dad. Lawrence dumb.
Oh yeah, my dad's cool. My dad wasn't gonna lose his medical license over some punk.
Oh, Lawrence was a punk? Oh man, that's even worse.
He's a punk.
That's even worse.
He's a punk to me because he cheated on me and caught something. Shame on you.
What kind of man cheats on you out of all people?
Shame on him. That's okay.
Your name means royalty. In Spanish.
Well, it's all good though. He got what he deserved.
In Latin, your name means royalty in Latin.
He got what he deserved, y'all.
No,
sorry, not sorry. But this happened. But let me just tell y'all, this happened like back in the day. This happened before, there was any such thing as HIV. So he should be happy about that.
HIV came out in the 60s.
But it wasn't before herpes. So he could have got that. And that's like luggage. That's like Samsonite, y'all. You carry it with you forever. But it's all good to me.
It's not all good. You still hurt by it.
No, actually, I find it quite funny. I just thought it was quite ironic. That's why it's a good story.
Oh, man. I can't believe a man cheated on you.
Hey, Terry.
I can't believe a man cheated on you.
I've been cheated on by more than one man. So
By more than one man at the same time? Oh
no,
man,
not
you
at the
sure you
same
weren't
time.
cheating?
At different times in life.
Oh, I was about to say.
Cheaters are cheaters.
I was like, if you got cheated on by more than one man at the
No,
same
not at the
time,
same time. That would be no. That would
you
not.
must have been cheating.
I wasn't. I wasn't. I was never a player. I've always been a one at a time.
Hey there, Torre. How you been, Torre? How you been, Torre? The
How you
best
doing?
in the world. The
Are
best
you
in the
feel? Are you
world.
feeling better? Are you feeling better, Terry? You feeling better? I hope so.
Yeah, I hope you feel better because DC is on fire tonight, boy.
Yeah,
DC is on.
I was, a little upset when I got on, but I was coming from
She
it.
said. She said every woman should have the choice to get an abortion.
I'm about
Forget,
that.
forget, forget what the politicians say.
Well, here's the thing. You have to think about it. For most of my life, um, abortion has been legal. I remember when it wasn't, but I was a kid, so I don't really remember that. But I also remember that I had friends
Mm-hmm.
who got abortions when we were in high school, and I actually went with one of those friends to go get it done. I was the one who was there with her, holding her hand, because the little
Um.
punk that she was with, didn't want to have nothing to do with it.
mm,
So that's why she was doing that.
mm. Because they didn't want anything to do with the abortion, or they didn't want anything to do with the child.
Nothing to do with the child or
Oh.
with her after that.
Oh. I'm
And
sorry
they
to
have
hear
been
that.
and they have been and they have been together for it was high school,
Puppy love.
you know. But they have been
Oh.
but they have been together since like ninth grade. So
Oh man, they've been doing each other since then. Oh
they
man.
have been together since I don't know if they've been doing it since ninth grade, but they have been boyfriend and girlfriend since ninth grade.
Oh man. Who else they was that when they did all this?
Man, teenagers in the 70s and 80s knew how to find ways to do stuff when parents weren't around. Just like they can find ways to do stuff when parents aren't around now.
My my kids can't do that. I'm retired.
Let me just say that when when
I'm
I
home.
was a teenager, one SP, and in the
I'm
summer
home.
times when I would be home, me and my sister and brother would be home. Um, I didn't ever try having nobody over there because my father was known to pop up. My mother they were known to come home, pop up at any moment in the middle of the day because
Mm-hmm.
because we had a pool in our backyard. So that was a
Mm-hmm.
magnet for every kid in the neighborhood. And
Mm.
they were making sure I ain't had no boys over there. My little
Mm.
girlfriends could come over and swim in the
Mm.
pool, but I couldn't have no boys. No boys could come over there, and they made sure.
No Johnny Gill, huh?
My dad would pop up, so I was too scared. So I didn't. I didn't only the only time I had boys over there was if somebody was home, and when I had a pool party one summer when I was in high school.
Mm. So
Yeah.
you can't have Johnny Gill over there.
Well, no, I didn't know Johnny like that. I knew Stacy.
You say he was right down the block.
Stacy went to church, went to the same church as I did. I didn't go to the same church as him. I told you I grew up in the Catholic church. Stacy
Uh,
Stacy Ladisaw went to a Catholic church. She grew up Catholic, just like me.
oh,
Yeah. So, but his church was right down the street from my church.
oh, Johnny Gill. You could have had him over there. He could sing "My Mama." Nah, he wouldn't have sing.
Johnny,
Babyface wrote that.
no. Well, at that
Babyface wrote
particular
"My
time,
Mama."
Johnny was a baby to me because I'm like at least 4 years older than them.
Oh, Johnny Gill was a baby to you?
Well,
He was
because
still pulling chicks when he was like 12. What you talking about?
when he was like when he was like 12, I was already like what 16, 17.
He could have still snatched you with his voice when he was 12.
He had but that you know what? That's the reason why it took him so long to really make it because he had a voice that he didn't. he didn't match his voice. He was too young for that voice. Even though he could handle the songs, he couldn't sing songs that were age appropriate because of his voice sounded like a grown man, like close to 40s voice.
He started in his dad's church. He was
he always sounded
had
like
a gospel voice. He should have sung gospel music.
He always sounded like that. That's what I'm saying. He always had that voice because I had been to the church because it was down the street, and it was Baptist church. Rock of Ages. There's a Rock of Ages in every city, y'all. Y'all know that.
Yep.
And that's the one he went to. That was his church, Rock of Ages.
So it was like Johnny Gill Sr.
In Southeast Washington, D.C. For those of you who want to go fact check.
Now I know who was a baby when you had pool parties. Genuine.
Oh yeah, Genuine was a baby. The only one who's older than people think he is Raheem Devon, but he's still a baby. But he's older than people think he is, because he is probably closer to Jay-Z's age than people think he is.
Oh well, he got a baby face.
Yeah, he does. Because when he came out, he was older than people thought he was.
Or proactive.
Yeah, he's closer to 50 than people think he is. But Raheem is so cool. He's so cool because he's a conscious singer. He's like the Marvin Gaye of neo soul. You can tell I'm really a Raheem fan, and I
don't think he's.
But I actually know him. I actually got to interview him when I was doing radio and stuff. So
I think you can't forget about music.
But he's a little short. But he's a little short something. He's a little short
Maxwell.
Dude. And he likes big girls. I'm not a big girl. I'm not even his type.
He started his career as a big boy. He was like, he started his career as a big boy.
He's a cool dude though.
He lost a lot of weight though.
Raheem is a cool dude though. He's a cool dude, and his dad is like a jazz musician. A lot of people don't know that. His dad is like a jazz bassist. Because he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't talk about his dad.
He's a second generation musician, huh?
Well, he doesn't talk about his dad.
Oh. He don't want accolades. Huh?
No, he only talks about his mom. So I assume based on that he doesn't deny his dad. His dad, he doesn't have his dad's last name though, because his dad has like a African name. So I don't know if was his original name. Raheem could have what his government name was, for all we know.
Oh, so he just go by his slave name.
Yeah, his dad has, I forget what his name is. It's an African name. That's what I'm saying. I can't even remember what it is. It's like Matumbo or something like that. Something weird.
Oh, like that. That's pretty cool.
But his dad is a jazz bassist. He plays the upright bass.
I can't believe you ain't invite Johnny Gill to your house. He must have been ugly to you. With his big nose and big lips.
Who are you talking about, Raheem?
Johnny Gill.
Johnny's always been a nice looking guy.
Big nose, big lips, and big ears.
Chocolate Brothers. Chocolate Brothers rule. What you talking about?
Little Johnny in a suit. Look at little Johnny in a suit.
Yeah, but Johnny can sing.
He was in a suit.
I will never take that away from him. The brother can sing.
He been in suits his whole life.
Yeah, he has been.
Everybody said that boy used to walk around the block with a suit with a briefcase.
I think his
whole family say he used to walk around the block with a briefcase.
Well, maybe he's always just been an old soul.
He told everybody, "I'm gonna be somebody." That way, everybody said that. Everybody like that they interviewed about him. He was like, "I'm gonna be somebody. Watch."
Well,
Everybody laughed at him.
you know that him and Stacy were boyfriend and girlfriend at one point.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just so he
And,
could get famous.
but unfortunately,
He used her to get famous.
her family, and I don't think that this is right, but according to Johnny, they didn't want her around him because of his being so
Skin color.
dark. Yep. You know, I'm like,
Well, he got what he needed. He got a push. He got what he needed. He got a push.
well, he went and got a curl. Now he had a curl in his hair.
He got a push. You know,
Yo, now,
all he had to do was get on the chart. That's it. And he landed well on the chart with perfect combination. And that
yeah.
was it.
Well, I would say they were together then, but I'm saying that I think that they were still when he joined New Edition. That's when he told the guys that's why him and her broke up, was because her family didn't like the fact that he was so dark. Which is a daggone shame because he's a nice looking guy. What does his skin color have to do with it? That's just crazy to me. I hate colorists.
I think he just wanted a way out, man. He just wanted a way out. Think about this. He on the New Edition tour. Come on. He can't have one woman and be a New Edition. Well, now he can. But back then, no, he couldn't have one woman and be a New Edition.
Hey, Miss Gen X. Good morning.
New Edition was with RCA. So, you know, they had Janet. They had Paula Abdul. They had a lot of people, you know, a lot of female artists.
When he came into New Edition and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis took them under their wing, and what they really did is they grew their sound up. And Johnny is what helped them to grow their sound up because he always had a grown man voice. And, you know, I'm taking nothing from Ralph, but Ralph is a high tenor, and neither he nor Bobby were ever going to sound. Neither one of them had Johnny's chops. They just didn't have it.
Yeah, well, Ralph was supposed to be, or Riz was supposed to be the next.
I know
Michael Jackson.
He got mad about because things didn't go the way he wanted to. But they made promises to those dudes. They really did a lot. They did them wrong, but
everybody had number ones except for Ralph Trivet.
Right, but BBD, that whole thing was a fluke because they didn't know what they were going to do, and Jimmy and Terry told them, well, why don't y'all just do something together, and that's how people remember that Ricky could sing. Shoot, they are making so much money off of Poison because it still gets played.
Well, they made number ones,
and when they did,
Belle Biv DeVoe stayed number one longer than all of them.
And because they were part of the new Jack Swing sound with Belle Biv DeVoe, it was part of a whole different sound.
They stayed on longer than Bobby Brown. They stayed on longer than Johnny Gill. They stayed number one longer than Ralph Trivet never went number one, but they stayed longer. They stayed number one longer than all of them, and longer than New Edition ever been number one.
Hey, uppity unicorn.
Well, no, wait, I take that back. They didn't stay on longer than Can You Stand the Rain did. So I take that back.
But they did really good. And then when they did the hip hop honors, and the year that they did the hip hop honors, they had them, and I believe who else was on it? Guy was on there, and Aaron was just a mess. But anyway, and then
Aaron Hall is a great singer. I don't know what
right, but he was drunk and stuff when they did the hip hop honors thing. It was like 5 or 6 years ago, I think. And then BBD was also being honored on that. And, I'm thinking, these dudes are in their 40s, at that time. Now they're probably about 50, but back then they were still in their 40s. And they got up there and were able to do all those moves that they had done back
since they was teenagers.
Yep, they was able to get up there and do all of the BBD stuff, and they, didn't break a sweat.
They need to do if it is in love move.
Well, I
They
think
need
they
to
do
do.
it when they do the tour because on the New Edition show you get everybody.
Well, they done broke up. Remember, all they
Yeah,
got is all
they'll
they.
get back together
Well,
again.
no,
They
they
break
keep
up, they get
confusing
back
me.
together. That's how they do.
They keep confusing me. First, they only have Belle Biv DeVoe. Then they have Belle Biv DeVoe with Johnny Gill. Then they have Belle Biv DeVoe with Johnny Gill and Ralph Trevent. And then you got Heads of State. Heads of State is Ralph Trevent, Johnny Gill, and
Hmm.
Bobby Brown. Now they got what is it? Belle Biv DeVoe and Bobby Brown now. So I'm like, I'm confused. Which one are like
It's based on who's going to go on tour. But as you notice, because like when was it last year? Last year they were all together. Was
but
it?
they kept kicking people off the tour. They kept
Well, they
kicking.
kept kicking Bobby off the tour.
Bobby Brown was the last one on the tour. He stayed on the tour. They kicked Ralph off the tour. I remember that. They kicked Ralph off first.
That's crazy.
And then John Gill left because Ralph went on there. And they're like, how Bobby Brown wound up staying this time? And I guess Bobby Brown needed the money to promote his movie that came out on BET. So
Yeah.
he needed the tour to promote the movie that came out. So that's what he did. He stayed the whole time.
Yep. It's
And his stock went up ever since he finished that tour. His stock went up. He
but
done went
it's
from
stupid
like
because there's money to be made.
he
People are
done went from
dying
like
dying
eight
for
million
groups.
to 2 million, 2.5 million now. So
They
went
better
from
get it together. They better go out there and get that bag. You see, I was like, I say, you see what Omarion did when the boys in B2K. He said, "Oh, no problem. Hey, Bow Wow, can you come over here, man? Let's go do another tour. I need to go get my bag because I can't be doing with these fools no more."
yeah. He dropped B2K and went with Bow Wow. I'm like,
But
whoa.
can you blame him?
I was like, in the middle of the tour, he dropped B2K.
But can you
Like
blame him with little
how you drop
little fizzle pop?
B2K
Little
in the
fizzle
middle of
pop
the
is
tour?
and his baby's mama. She blew that group up by being with his group mate who was jealous of him and would take any of his leftovers. And now she cheating on that one. And now both of them are sitting there looking stupid. So I hope they can make some money off of Love and Hip Hop because that's the only check they gonna be getting. Because she was on she used to be on that show with Jason Lee, who I can't stand.
But she I think April is pretty smart. You know,
She is
I'm pretty
pretty smart, but she's still making unwise choices, and she
but
doesn't think about how this is going to affect her
all she doing
children
all she
later
doing
on.
exactly all she doing is exactly what the chick from my wife and kids was doing when she was dating Omarion. She was dating Omarion, she left Omarion for Fizz, and then she went from Fizz to Batman from what you call it,
Yeah,
immature.
exactly.
So like that's all his baby mama doing exactly what that chick did. So
But she just going down. It's like you had a good one, and now you dealing with trash. Because what her and Fizz did was trash. It was trash.
oh, she cheated on Fizz though. So
Exactly. But
she
but
cheated on
but
Fizz.
but that's his karma. That's karma for him.
I don't think B2K is a mess. I just think that, Omarion joined the group and he already had star exposure. You remember he did the "Gotta Have My Pops" commercial. Nobody don't remember that, but I
Yeah.
remember. And, like it was the biggest commercial ever. Like Corn Pops was selling through the roof. Like I even got him because he was on there. And I'm like, who is this black kid? Gotta have my pops. Every single time. You feel me? So But you know, he already had star exposure from the Corn Pops commercial, and I guess like once he joined the group, I mean, they just blew up. Like before then, they only had like what 2 or 3 singles. They had 2 videos before he joined the group, 2 music videos before he joined the group, and like once he joined the group, he did 1 music video that was that thing, and they blew up just like that.
Yep.
They blew up
Because
like
the reality is that he could survive without the group, but the group could not survive without him.
yeah, he know how to hustle.
And then Riz just kept losing his mind because he was, I mean,
Raspy was molested. I mean,
exactly.
I really think the man was molested. There's no reason for
I
him
think that he's not the only one out of that group, and I think that that's part of the problem is that they're still dealing with the, you know, residual effects of that, because you know, Fizz to me is just a soft, you know what, just a soft dude. I mean, yeah, he's
he done dated everybody on the Love and Hip Hop scene. he done smashed everybody. He done smashed every chick on there.
And then the crazy part about it is that he tries to make it like Moniece wants him, and she don't want him. He wishes she would want him. I mean, think about it. It must really mess him up that she would rather be with a woman than be with him.
I don't know. I don't watch it like that. But all I know is that every chick.
I don't know if that's where she is now. I just know that that's when they first got on that Love and Hip Hop show. You know, that's what the situation was. You know, I don't know what her business is, but I've heard Moniece sing, and she can actually sing. I'm like, girl, you better go out there and get you a check instead of messing around with these fools on there. And you know, because you know, Moniece is very open about her issues that she has, you know, and I'm just like, girl, stay on your meds and stay away from those crazy people. Don't let them trigger you.
Marion is doing pretty good for a single man. He's doing pretty good. Pretty good for a single dad. I mean, this man.
I think Omarion is.
This man don't even got his mama no more. Like they don't. B2K done took his mama from him.
I know that was kind of wild when that stuff came out about the other dude, and I'm thinking, and I
thought they was cousins. I'm like, how did this happen? Like, oh my god.
But they're saying
he don't got no support from nobody.
They're saying that he seduced her, not she seduced him. And I'm thinking, how does a teenager seduce a grown woman? How does a teenage boy?
Well,
I don't care if he was 18. He was not more than that.
Yeah, a grown man. Nah, he 32 now.
Yeah, and this is something that apparently happened a long time ago.
32 now. Yeah, grown man now.
Right, but what I'm saying is this thing that happened between the other dude and his mom.
Oh,
it happened back. Yeah, it didn't happen recently. It happened back in the day, and it's just now coming out.
J-Bug is okay.
Yeah,
J-Bug is okay.
Exactly.
That's I don't got a problem with J-Bug.
Yeah, that's the one. They're saying that it happened a long time ago. I haven't heard him speak on it, but the whole situation is crazy to me.
J-Bug pretty cool. I don't got no problem with him.
I'm like, y'all supposed to be friends? Is this how friends are?
All I know is that everybody see how successful he is. And they coming at him on all different ends. So,
Omarion is above all of this. He's not even paying attention.
I know he can stay successful. All he got is his mind on business.
Yeah, but Moniece can sing. Moniece has a very pretty voice. She can sing better than some of them other ones to be on that show saying they singing like Lyrica. Man, they're wannabes. She is dope. She is dope, Matt. She has a beautiful voice, but she can't seem to keep her life together for anything to happen. I think he fell off, y'all. It sounded like he might fall off because I started to hear something. How are you doing, Miss Uppity Unicorn? I got to check out that video that you put up earlier. I saw it in my thing, but I was having a situation of my own over here with my son earlier, so I got a few. I saw notifications for a couple of you guys' videos today. I know there was a whole bunch of stuff going on in these YouTube streets today too, though, y'all. And you know, I don't know. I just don't know. And since I'm not even involved in it, but the sad thing is that people that I know that aren't involved in it have been pulled into it, which is really, really sad. And so instead of them doing content, yes, exactly, Uppity Unicorn. That's what I'm talking about. Because even though I may not have been in everybody's lives, I've gone back and watched them. The one that I missed when I was dealing with my son, I did go back and watch it. And yeah, some wild stuff happened in there. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. You're doing the right thing, Uppity Unicorn. But it's interesting because just to me, it seems like it's a bunch of different sectors within, this part of YouTube that this whole situation is coming from. And this is a whole situation that's been going on for years and too much, I'm hoping that people will start just, creating content and whatever's going on, I just hope that it doesn't go where it appears to be going, which is real life. So, but it appears that that's where that stuff is going to go, unfortunately. And I mean, it was going on we saw stuff going on with bigger YouTubers, earlier this year. I mean, big YouTubers. I'm talking about YouTubers who have over 100K, over 200, that big. And there was stuff going on with them, doxing and all of that kind of stuff, and that too went off of YouTube because lawsuits started flying around, and it's just unfortunate that this kind of stuff is going on. I don't know the specifics, so I can't speak on it. I just, it's just unfortunate that it appears that women of color, for some reason have problems, just consistently getting along, even if you choose to agree to disagree, but I'm just going to keep doing my content, Most of the stuff that I talk about is autism, and tonight I was forced to start the show with that because of things that were happening here at the house. I appreciate you guys for being patient with me when I had to put y'all on mute a couple of times so that I could talk to, the caseworker for my son. But all is well right now. He's laying down. I told y'all he has had some melatonin. He had 2 of them, so he should sleep through the night, and that should keep him calm and unagitated. But I am seriously going to be looking into a gluten-free diet for him going forward. I know it's going to be more expensive, probably just making sure that I get like things like gluten-free bread, and there's certain things that he likes that I may have to have substitutes for. But if that is something that will help him so that he doesn't have these spikes, because like I said, it could be things that are happening in metabolically inside of him from foods. It could be, like that he needs to do a detox. So we are going to do the celery juice. I'm just going to have to try to figure out a way to make it taste good, because he's one of those people that doesn't like taking things that he doesn't like the taste of. But, I'm going to have to figure out a way to make it taste good and get it in him. It is sad, Matt. It is, I mean, those of us who are on here and, have been subscribed to a lot of different channels and everything, have seen a lot of stuff, even though I wasn't creating necessarily content of my own, I watched a lot of stuff happen earlier this year with some of the bigger YouTubers, before I even knew about some of these content creators that will be considered smaller YouTubers, in the grand scheme of things, just like myself, but it's just it's just unfortunate that the community is going through this, that the YouTube community is going through this as a whole, because we all know that it's not just happening in one sector. We just are seeing it in the sector that we happen to be in. But if you go into another sector and you dig around, you're going to find similar things going on. And, people are probably doing similar things of taking legal action, like what happened with the bigger YouTubers. So I'm sure some of that is going to happen, with some of these situations that may have gotten to that point, but, most of the people that I support and whose channels I like to visit, I'm going to still, continue going to their channels. I just hope that if they're part of the things that are going on at the high level, that all that crap gets resolved, because it's really, really crazy to me. It's just insane, and I mean, y'all see how I try to be pretty calm and pretty peaceful, because I don't feel like yelling. I don't feel like screaming. I don't even do that with my kid unless I have to. And, I want to be a slice of positivity, even when I'm telling you about stuff that's happening in my life, like, me having to deal with a meltdown with my son, but, being positive about the future about it, and being, vulnerable and exposing things like that, because people need to know that those are things that do actually happen, in the autism community. And since there are a lot of children of color in the autism community, and my son, this is happening as an adult, but it happened when he was a kid too. But I was bigger than him then. I could deal with it a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm dealing with a grown man and it's still an issue. So we definitely have to help him to not do these things, but I'm going to be dealing with getting the services that he needs. We're going to be dealing with getting him his in-home support services, which means they're just going to be paying me for doing what I'm already doing. In other words, I will get money from the state of California to continue helping my son, and it will probably allow me to get more help that maybe is not covered by his insurance. So y'all just say a little prayer, that I get all of that stuff worked out. But I will be talking about it because, I know I'm not the only one that has to go through getting in-home support services. And it's also not something that's just strictly um, with someone with autism. A lot of people are caregivers, and maybe caregivers for parents and have to do the same thing. So I like to tell people about the process that I'm going through. Yeah, I just, so I mean, as you guys can see, I'm just out here in these YouTube streets grinding, networking, meeting new people, you know, telling people about my channel so that I can make my presence known, so I can be, you know, a positive, informative, knowledgeable content maker. But there's a lot of things that obviously I'm going to talk about, even though autism may be tied into it. Like I'll talk about, you know, having relationships, um, being married, even though I'm not married right now, I was. um, and just, talk about working from home, a lot of different things. And one of the things that I do plan on talking about at some point in the future is, um, more about the ABA that my son is going to be going through. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be able to actually vlog when he goes through some of those sessions, unless it's ones where he's here at the house, obviously for privacy reasons for other people. But I will at least try to make sure that I tell you guys a lot about it, because ABA is not just for autism. They just found that it works with people on the autism spectrum, but it is something that anybody could benefit from. So that's why I'm going to share, what I learned as my son goes through it, because it's something that could be helpful to anyone, not necessarily just someone who has autism. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with what you're saying about that, uppity unicorn, and it's pretty sad that, most of us have to be, we can't be completely transparent about who we are because of things that are going on YouTube, you know, myself included, because I'm a caregiver for an adult who has a developmental disability. You know, that's part of who I am, and that's the part of my life that I choose to share on here, you know, and I'm only going to share what I want to share, you know. Obviously, I'm not stupid enough to give people enough information to find me, but hell, you know, I I'm not hiding either, but hopefully no one's going to come doing stupid stuff. If they do, it is what it is. I know how to deal with things as well, just like everybody else does. But again, I'm not involved in any of the stuff that's going on. And most of the people who are doing some of the things that are supposedly happening, I don't really even know them. So I know you did, Uppity. That and I'm just glad that you have come back onto your channel and are just doing your thing again. And that's all you need to do. Yeah, you did what you had to do. Again, you know, hell, I got a lawyer. So, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it, Mr. Fulton. Let me go back. Oh, happy birthday to your brother, Mr. Fulton. Happy birthday to Carson. Yeah, happy birthday to him. Yep. I know. And that's what I'm saying. That's the sad part about everything that's going on. People have taken things that started on YouTube to real life. Wow. Yeah, you can't that's the one thing you can't do unless you are super computer savvy and are posting, or have a bunch of different, cross routers and everything, channels that you go through to get to the internet. Your IP address is out there for everyone to see. So yeah. Exactly. And like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you post them yourself? That doesn't even make sense. You know? And that's the unfortunate thing. Like, people just having like no everybody just disrespecting everybody else. I mean, people calling each other out of name, yeah. I mean, women calling each other bees and garden tools. It's just sad, but I know, I know, I know, uppity unicorn. I know it got really serious. I'm glad that you were able to just get through that. I heard about that situation, but I didn't know you at the time that happened. But I heard about it. That's just crazy. Nobody does that. But I know. I mean, somebody would have to be really twisted to fake that. So, yeah. And generally, that's not something that would happen with someone that truly has something going on. They don't fake things. And see, when people say things, crazy things like that, it's like they're trying to trigger you into really doing it and succeeding to prove them wrong, which is twisted to me, in my opinion. It's twisted to me. That's my opinion. But I'm just glad that you are okay, or as okay as you can be now. I know, that's what I'm saying. That to do that could trigger the person to retry it and succeed. Yeah, it's crazy. And since and like I said, I don't really know. I don't know who was doxxed and who wasn't doxxed, or anything to that extent. I know that some people were doxxed, and I know that everybody being doxxed can't be fake. But I believe that some people may have, maybe some people said they were doxxed and they weren't. I don't know. Yep, that's true. That's true. Exactly. You just keep doing you. You just keep doing you. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm just, I just do myself. I go through people's chats, I say hi and everything, but I can't really get involved in the stuff because I really don't know anything. So the best thing for me is to keep it moving, and not really comment on the stuff other than saying that I think that everything is sad of how this is going on. Yep. So yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't mind having a smaller chat. It makes it it's more intimate, and I'm fine with organically growing my chats. I'm cool with that because I know that the longer that I do this, the more that I do the things that I'm planning on doing on here, it's going to grow the chat. And then those of y'all who are my day oneers and everything, y'all are going to remember when, but the thing is that, we will have that rapport, on the platform. And that's one of the reasons why I do, the lives, because I get to know all of you guys, and when I go to you guys lives, I get to see, who you are as well when I'm supporting your lives. So I appreciate everyone who comes through my lives. I don't care if I have 10, 5, 10, it could be one person in here. It doesn't matter to me. It's just about, me putting out good content, saying, doing whatever it is that I'm doing, not being involved in no beefs, not bringing no negativity. That's what I'm about, That's what I'm about. And yeah, I'm going to sprinkle in there things about me. I know like a lot of people are not, do not believe in the Most High, but I do, And so when I say things like what I said earlier about what I did with my son, because that's part of my belief system, I believe that prayer works, and speaking in your own, prayer language over someone when praying to the Most High is something that you do, because then you can say what really needs to be said, not just what you can say in the human tongue. It's more of a spiritual thing. So I do that. My son knows I because I speak in tongues over him a lot, but I knew what I was dealing with when he's having these meltdowns. I recognize that it's a behavior, but it's also a spirit, because we are spirit beings. So I know that it's a spirit. So I have to pray over him when that stuff is happening, because I have to pray, to try to help him to get through it and to calm down and whatever is, disturbing him, to cease, and for him to have peace, but gotta do that, and I'm not ashamed, but, as you guys know, I don't believe in a white Jesus, and I don't go to a fellowship that promotes that either. I have a good pastor who has enough sense to know who we really are. She also knows who the biblical Hebrews were, and she makes sure that we know who we are in the Bible. Because even with them translating it a million times into a million different languages, they can never write us out of that book. And we need to recognize who we really are in the eyes of the Most High. Exactly. We need to recognize who we really are. We need to recognize it. As people of color, we are a freaking mess as a whole. And that's not just on YouTube. You know, it's just, because we're content creators on here and we're trying to just, we're trying to do our thing, but, the negativity affects everybody. But I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing the positive stuff, because eventually the positive is going to outweigh the negative, and we all going to be fine, and then those who can't can't be that way, then maybe they'll have their own place and do their stuff over there and won't come out here and mess with the rest of us, and let the rest of us live in peace, and do what we think we came to YouTube to do. Seriously. But guys, I'm gonna get ready to end this. I really because I almost didn't come on tonight, y'all know. But I knew that I just needed to, because I knew that I needed to share this right now, and just talk to you guys even though I was dealing with something, because it's part of the autism experience, and that's one of the reasons why I came onto YouTube, to talk about that, and because I'm a woman of color, it's going to come from my perspective. And because I'm of a certain age, other things I have to talk about are going to come from my perspective. And maybe because I have so much stress in my real life, when I come on YouTube, I'm not going to I don't bring none of that on here. This is kind of my woo-saw. This is kind of my woo-saw, But I love, those of you who are content creators that come to my chat. I love, going to your channel, be it you have lives or you're just posting videos. I just like to see what you guys are doing. And yes, Terry, you're very correct. Uppity Unicorn has a lot to say. She's a very intelligent young sister, and nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can take that away from you, girl. Keep doing you, and just ignore all of that mess, because you moved on, and if they haven't, that's on them. You're above it. But you've got I like your channel. You come from a real place. And I like that you are not afraid to show your face. Yeah, when you're on your channel. And I know you think people don't like it when you do your prayer, but do you, girl. Do you. Because maybe some of the blessings will pop off on them. Exactly. She sure is. She sure is. I mean, it's going to grow. Like I tell all of you guys, I tell everybody, I network outside of Black YouTube, as do a whole lot of people of color. And we get people of different, different parts of the world. Because most of us in Black YouTube are here in the United States. But there's people of color all over the world. And there's people that want to hear whatever we got to say all over the world. So I network all over the place. And you'd be surprised how many people will just come to your channel and see what you're talking about, and they stick around. And those people, when you meet them out in those networking chats, those people end up being more loyal than the people that are usually in sectors. Because, I obviously did not grow my channel from this particular sector. And I certainly didn't just grow it in autism sector, because as we all know, there's not that many autism channels. but I'm putting myself out there. All I got to do is brand myself. But I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. I want you guys to continue putting out the content that you guys are doing. I was actually, before I started today, I was working on some stuff I want to say in a motivational video. I'm going to finish it, even though my hands hurt right now. But I'm going to finish it. And so I'm going to get that video out either tomorrow or by Monday. Just depends on, what's going on tomorrow. But I appreciate y'all being here. Yep, exactly. Positive. I appreciate y'all being here, and supporting me. I can't do it without any of y'all. I saw Marlon Music come through earlier. I know DOD might have left. I know Kinks came through earlier. But I just thank all of you guys for coming through. I mean, Nancy, it was a bunch of different people. I think I spoke to everyone as they came through, either in the chat or from the platform. But I appreciate y'all. Please appreciate you, 1SP, for coming up and talking too. But we will see each other tomorrow or later today, because it's already after midnight. But until then, guys, I offer y'all peace and blessings from the West Side. Bye, everybody.